Hello friends. So I hope by now you have gone through some of the database concepts which I have explained in my earlier videos, and then you are aware of some of the important concepts like table, domain, data element, and then view, search, help. You are also aware of some of the important transactions like SE11, then SE12, SE38, and then you are also aware of the work processes. You are also aware of the table types and all. So what we are going to do today is we'll try to create a sample program in SAP, and then we will try to give some input to that program, and then we'll try to get an output out of this program. At the same time, the table which we created yesterday, we will try to update that table as well. So just a second. So this one is our sample table. So we will try to update this table as well. Now, if you remember, some time back I told you the concept of internal table and work area. Internal table is basically the number of records at runtime. So basically it could be one or more than one. Work area is again similar to structure or a skeleton. But then again, it may or may not have a data, but at the max it will be having a single record. Means, let's say there are 10 records in an internal table, then we will try to access those records via work area one by one. So I'll show you how to do that. So that will also be covered in the table, in the sample program itself. The important point which is left till now in data dictionary, apart from few other non-important points, is lock object. So I'll try to showcase the significance of lock object if possible today, otherwise tomorrow. So let's try to create a sample program. Now there are two options for doing that. So one of the option is we can go to SE38, and then we can try to create a program. The name should start with Z or Y. As I said, for a custom development, SAP namespace should be either starting from Z or Y. But then when we do some programming in SAP, we try to follow a coding standard. The coding standard has its own significance. The very first thing is the coding standard could vary from organization to organization, but then if someone within the same organization is trying to look at your code, he will be easily able to understand that what exactly you are trying to do, what kind of data you have declared, whether it's a variable or a constant, and then what is the program flow. So these are some of the things which will be considered in the programming standards or coding standards, which eventually would help in the optimum performance of that program. Because while creating a program, normally we call it a report in SAP, but then the main difference could be a report will be having an output. A program may or may not have an output, it will do something in the backend. So yeah, I mean that's about it. So we'll try to create a sample program, and then we'll try to navigate around it, we'll try to play with the program, we'll try to do some tweaking in the input and output. So yes, so coming to the coding standards, so there are two options. Either I can go to the program that is through SE38. I can give a program name, let's say G test program, and then I can hit on create button. It will ask for a title of that program, so we'll just mention our first program. The type of the program would be an executable program. Include module pool, I'll slowly explain all the program kind of program type. Status should be customer production program, because I am a customer and I'm trying to create it for my production system. Application is basically the module to which this program is related. It could be related to finance, it could be related to CO, cost accounting, general ledger, finance, anything. So it all depends on us. It's not mandatory, we can leave it blank because it's a sample program. Authorization group, again I'll explain later. Logical database is a part of ABAP HR, that is HCM development. We'll hold it for now. Selection screen also, we'll just hold it for now, it's not required. So the the other important point here is Unicode checks active. Unicode checks active means Especially starting from ECC 5.0 onwards, SAP is trying to follow the Unicode standards, which means SAP is Unicode. When we say Unicode, so the communication is SAP is now more efficient, which means SAP can understand any kind of data encoding. For example, there is a .NET based software, there could be a Java based software, there could be a simple Excel sheet, there is a notepad, and there is something coming to SAP, something going out of SAP, there is XML. So there are various kind of data encoding techniques, but then SAP is ready to all kind of data. That is why we call it Unicode. Fixed point arithmetic, just hold it for now because we are in a very beginning stage. We can hold it. Variant, just hold it. Editor lock is something, if I just enable this, so no one else would be able to edit this program except me. So it's not required for now. Just hit on save. It will ask for a package. Let's say the same package, same transport, and then it will take me to the ABAP editor. So this is my ABAP editor. So this one, which basically would be a blank space wherein you can write your coding, something like this. But then this, okay, this is also just an approach to create a program. For now we will just activate it, and just remember, in SAP everything should be activated before it moves to the next environment, otherwise it will throw an error there. Now the other option to create, and the most advisable option, would be you go to SE80. SE80 is my business object navigator, wherein I can go and then find various business objects in SAP, basically various kind of objects in SAP. In fact, we used it in yesterday's session, so you can just refer to that. So I'm going to SE80. Meanwhile, I'll just close this unwanted session. So one more thing you should notice here is that at a time we can open only 6 sessions. For example, you see this place, we can create a new session. See, so now we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if I hit the 7th time, it will say maximum number of session reached. So what I'm trying to say here is, this is the ideal situation in every SAP environment, that at the max we will be having 6 sessions opened at a time. But then why this is happening? Because for one particular user we have 6 work processes available, 6 foreground work processes available. So see, foreground means dialog. So 0 1 2 3 4 5. So basically 6 dialog work processes are available. This is basically basic stuff. Normally you won't see it in normal environment, because this stage with basic guys only, but here we have it, so we can see. So see, this is a dialog work process, means whatever you do in front end, in foreground with SAP, that will be taken care by dialog work processes. U means update work process, which means, for example, you are trying to update any data in the database by doing anything, so that would be taken care by this work process. This is NQ, as I said, like lock object. So this will basically lock a particular database. And then a wait status means it's available to take up the next available task. BTC is basically background task. SPO is basically spool request, that will take care of my print commands. UP2 is second update work process. So this one is update second. So basically here we are having 2 update work processes, then we are having 1 spool work process, then we are having 3 background, 5 1 2 3 5 background tasks, then 6 dialog processes. So work process is something that takes care of a particular kind of task. It could be foreground, it could be background, it could be print output, it could be update. So what happens now, for example, as I showed you already for dialog work process, once all the work processes are consumed, then it won't allow for the next work process. But then at the same time, let's say we are having so many update requests in SAP, and then both of my work processes are full, they are completely busy. In that case, those update requests will fall in a queue, and then as soon as the work process is free, the next update request will be assigned to it. Similarly, for other work processes. So but who assigns this to the work process? Internally there is a dispatcher within SAP that is a part of our architecture. So a dispatcher would go and pick the particular request and then assign it to a particular work process. So that is one of the concepts. Again, you should remember it because it could be a part of your interview question as well. So we'll just hold it for now and then we will close all the unwanted sessions. So when I am saying 6 means it's because base is allowed only 6. It could be unlimited also depending on your system capability. Not necessarily it will be 6. It all depends on you. Yeah. Now coming to the program. So this one is my G test program. What I'll do, I'll go to SEAT screen. This one is also unwanted. We'll close it. Yeah. So go here, select program, and then we will try to give a similar name, and then you just observe the exact difference. It's already there. We'll give G program 1. So this program does not exist. Create. Yes, we will create. It's saying do you want to create with a top include? So for now I am saying yes. So we will just provide the same name here, program 1 underscore top. Okay, so same thing here. Type I will say executable. For now just go with executable. Module pull anyway I'll cover in some of the session. Status is same customer product. Save, give the same package, transport. And then activate this. Now if you see here, this is my program. If you go to the other screen, this is also my program. If you see here, this says report this. If you see here, it doesn't say anything, right? Now the other difference is by default it's showing me a top include. If I double click here, so this report is basically coming here. Now I'll go back, I'll show you the other difference. We have a place called O01, I01, F01. This is written as, this one is global data, PBO module, PAI module, form routines. So global data, by the name itself you can understand that here this particular include will be used for data declaration. Means what kind of data we are going to use within the program. It could be numeric data, it could be a string data, it could be a constant, it could be a variable, it could be anything. So as of today we are going to use this, and then I am going to enable one more include program. So this is also program. If I double click, it goes to a different program. So I'll just activating one more. I am just enabling one more. You can see there is a star mentioned here. This star is basically shows that this line of code is commented. It means this will not be executed at runtime. How to do that? You can just press control and less than sign, and control and greater than would be basically uncommenting. Control and less than, it's basically commenting. So when I uncommented this piece, and if I double click here, so it says that this program does not exist. Do you want to create? Yes, I want to create. Yes. Save, same transport. Again activate this. Just keep a habit of activating all the components. Here you can see now we have two different components which are inactive. This is my main program, this is my include program, and it's also saying that user is currently editing this. So what I need to do, I need to go back. I can make it in display mode. Just hit here again, it will go to display mode, and then try to activate. So now it's active. Yeah, so we have a top and then we have a F01. I'll show you the use of F01 now. So in SAP we have the concept of subroutine, which means what we will do, we will just push the particular operation in a separate place, and then that operation can be accessed in various places. It's like a common piece of code which can be accessed anywhere. Simple. So it's that is the concept of subroutine. It can be accessed within the same program, it can be accessed in other program also. So there we have the concept of global and local subroutines. We will try to use it one by one, because this particular section reporting is going to be very long section. We might need to cover this in 3 to 4 classes. So this one looks better in terms of coding standard. So whenever you try to create a program, you follow this SE80 process. We won't follow this SE38 process. You can follow, doesn't matter, but then normally, I mean in normal cases we don't follow. I'll just come out of it. Now coming to here, you can see that there is a blank place. Basically this place is to capture the modification log. So in real time we need to provide certain details like program basically module, which module this program belongs to, and it should be, obviously it should be commented, and then created by something like my name, created on, then description that will describe the purpose. If I do a control D here, just like Excel sheet, it will create a duplicate line, and then TR details, that is my transport request. So these kind of details we can fill here, that will be helpful to the other programmer who will eventually come to make any change in this one. Keep on activating. There is some syntax error it's saying. So till now everything is fine. So this is basically the skeleton of a program or a report in SAP. Now we are going to the top section, and then we are going to declare something. So what I want to do, whenever user executes this program, he can provide some input to that program, which means he can provide an input value to certain things. So there are two things that will come into picture here. One is called parameter. So if you see, as soon as I type, automatically system proposes. If I press a tab button, it will capture it. So this is called new editor. If I go to utility settings, old editor, then it won't propose. Then it will be very boring kind of thing. So we generally try to work with the new editor, because it automatically proposes the syntax. Now parameter, for example, so in most of the cases when we declare a parameter, it starts with p underscore. So for example, what I'm trying to write here is p underscore matnr type. Now you have to see the impact of this. The other thing which you want to do here is you need to press on pretty printer. So pretty printer, which basically will just kind of make an alignment to the code by default, so that the code looks good. So I'm again going to utilities, settings, and then pretty printer. Indenting is one, it will do automatically the alignment, and then convert keywords to the uppercase, and then OK. Keywords are this, which is in blue color. If I do a pretty printer now, so it will be changed to the uppercase. This will be changed to the lowercase, which is fine. And we can do vice versa also. This one is lower, this one is upper. All depends on you. Now we have an option to execute this. So this one is for syntax check. For example, if I don't put this dot here, this dot basically will just ensure that this sentence is complete. If I don't put a dot here and then try to do a syntax check, it will say it's not complete, period missing. And then if I do an activate, then also it will say the same thing. So just put a dot here, activate it, and then to execute the program you should go to the main program and then do a F8 here. So direct processing F8. So what you can see here is system is allowing me to give an input with a material number. Now it could be anything, but for now it's a material number. So what exactly we did here? So we declared a parameter. Parameter is basically something which can take a single value as an input. Type MATNR. Now why I provided MATNR? Because I already have a standard data type called MATNR. It already exists, and then it also have a value table maintained in this as Mara. So by doing this, what exactly going to happen is whenever I execute this program, it by default, first of all, it gives me a 10 character input value, and then it also gives me this F4 search help as a standard one. Means it will inherit the property of the standard data element or a data type. The other thing is this doesn't looks good. So what we need to do, we need to provide a text to this. So utilities, go to text element, selection text, because this belongs to my selection screen. Now there are two options. I can write something here, or I can tell this that you go and fetch it from the dictionary. If this one is a standard one, it will go and fetch from the dictionary. If I hit activate now, it will automatically pull material. That is a standard one. Otherwise I could write something. I should not check this option in that case. Now if I execute this program, you can see material. Now we'll do some more beautification. What we will do, we'll try to put this under a block. So there is a syntax for that. Selection screen, just keep on hitting tab, it will give you the complete sentence written automatically. Selection screen begin of block B1 with frame title T001. Selection screen end of block B1. If you are starting a block, then you should end the block also. Do a pretty printer. I generally do a shift F1, which does the same thing. Do a pretty printer. Activate. Now you see the screen. This looks little better. It will be pushed into a block. The other thing which we want to do here is, so basically it's the block name B1. Similarly, we can create another block B2, B3, like that. Similarly, I want to create a text T001. Just double click. So this will, again this is same thing, go to, again we'll put something here like selection screen, save. Based on this it will just set the length here. So the length is 16. Activate, go back, activate. So I declared a text like this, text -001. So what is the benefit of doing this? I could have written, I could have done a hard coding here like ABC. You can do a hard coding by putting it under a single quotes, full stop and then double quotes. If you do a double quote, the next stuff would be commented out like this. So no need to put this in single quotes actually. So why we are putting a text -001 means, first of all, it's not hard coded. The second thing, we can select this text and then we can go to translation, and then we can translate this into different languages also, because sometime what happens, uh, we are working in a global environment, and then a user who logs in into German, he wants to see it differently. Someone who logs it into maybe Russian, he wants to see it differently. So SAP supports all the languages, so accordingly we need to provide the translation, and then it should be migrated to different environments also. So that is the benefit of creating a text rather than putting it as hard coded one. So I need to provide a translation here, but anyway that's not mandatory now. You can see it's writing selection screen now. The other thing, you can see it looks like program G test program 1. So go to attribute, go to attribute, and let's change the details here. Our first program, save, activate. So our first program, it will come here. So what we actually did till now, we created a selection screen. So we will just put some comments here. Begin of selection screen. Then we'll put another comment, data declaration. So in data declaration, there are two things which we are going to do, because we are giving the material as an input. So what I want to do, yeah, the other thing, so basically this parameter is basically accepting only one value at a time. We will try to enter multiple value after this. Now first we will declare an internal table. So what is an internal table? Basically same thing like a database table, but then it's valid only till runtime. So that syntax to declare an internal table is data it underscore, let's say, because I'm going to pull the data from table MARA, MARA, that is material master. I'll give MARA type table of MARA. So what I'm saying, that it's going to be an internal table, that's why I'm writing type table of the work area WA underscore MARA type. So I'm not mentioning it as table, which means it's just a skeleton. Do a pretty printer. So what I'm trying to do here is, this will hold the value of this will hold the multiple records, this will hold only one record or maybe zero record, all depends. Then there are certain events in the program. So again we'll hold the event for now. First we want to see the simple output. So what we will do, we'll just try to fetch the data from MARA table, and then we will just show it in the output. So what I'm trying to do here is select MARA, select the field basically. So select this field, this field, this field, this field. So select MATNR, ERSTA, ERNAM from. So basically select what you are going to select. So fields, we'll just do some beautification. From, so select this from source, into table IT underscore Mara. If I'm writing this, so it will select everything. So it's just like select all. We'll just provide some where condition, where MATNR, that is my material number, equal to P underscore MATNR, that is my input. So where my material is equal to this. So by doing this, we are basically asking the system to fetch the data from material master, where material equal to my input. And then there is a system variable called size sub RC. System variables I'll explain again. So size sub RC is something, if the previous operation is successful, then size sub RC would be 0. If the previous operation is not successful, then size sub RC could be 4. So this is my first operation. If this operation is successful, which means if size sub RC equal to 0, then and then whenever there is an if, there should be an end if to close that. So my intention is to write the data in the output. So what we will do, directly we cannot write the data of an internal table. So we have two options. Either we can put a loop or we can read it. So first I'll put a loop. Loop at internal table into work area, and then every loop should have an end loop. So what it will do, it will just run for each record, and then it will push that record into this one. Every time a new record will come in this one. Right. So whatever we selected, we are going to show in the output. So if I execute this program now, so what I can do, I can select a material here, and if I execute it further, so this one is my error message. So what the problem here is, because we are directly referring to the standard structure, so we have to pull the fields in the same sequence as it is there. So I have not fetched mandate here. So basically what is happening, this field is going to this field. So to avoid this, I need to fetch the first field as well. So basically it's a mismatch between source and target. Execute. So you can see, we'll just follow execute. If I go here, if I give the material number, execute this. So this is my material, this is my created on, this is created by. So material created on, created by, the same thing will be displayed here. This is the title of that, our first program. So what we did, we provided sub input and then we are getting an output. So we can call it as a report program because we are getting a report in the output. Now we are going to do some more tweaking here. As of now, this parameter accepts only single input. So I will just comment this for now. What I will do, I want to take multiple inputs for which there is a syntax called select option. That will coding standard is something like s_matnr for table hyphen field. Now system says that it doesn't recognize this particular thing. So what you can do, there is another syntax called tables. You can tell the system that you are using this table. Now system would be able to recognize this. So what we are saying that we are going to accept multiple entries. I'll show you how to accept it. Then there is another syntax error in the program because we have commented this one. So in our SQL statement we have to change this. So where matner equal to, because it's a single entry, it's a single record, so we can just make it just compare it just face to face. But then we are accepting multiple entries. So what we will do, just do a control D, comment this one, matner in s_matner. Execute this. Now you can see a different thing here again because this is coming. So what we need to do, go to text element, selection text, select this, execute. It will say that now this p matner doesn't exist, shall we delete it? We'll say yes, it will go off. Execute. So you can see material. Now the thing here is I can give only single entry. I can give range, means what I can do, I can give a range that from 1410 to 1903, or I can do other operations like I can click on this arrow, I can give the material which I want. For example, I want this randomly, so I can just give all the random values here, or I can provide a range again here, lower limit, upper limit, means for example from here to here, then from here to here, something like this. Or I can do an exclusion that I don't want this value, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I want remaining, that we can put here. Or similarly we can exclude similar way. So for now what I am going to do, I am going to give the same material as a single value. Let's execute this. So we are getting the same output. But then what now I am going to do is I am going to select a range. Hit F4 there. We'll select, let's say, 1017 to 019. Execute. See, now it's 1017, 1018, 1019. Three values are coming. 1017 to 1019. So whatever we are doing here, basically in this one, same thing we are doing in our report. So these three things are displayed there, but now here it's coming in different line, here it's coming in the same line. So what you need to do here is just put a /n. Yeah, just you need to put a slash there and it will just push it to different lines. So that is the difference between a select option and a parameter. I mean, most of the time you will be, just facing these two things. The third thing is to have a radio button. Radio button is something, it's like we are having multiple options on the screen, but then I want to select only one out of it. We have a checkbox that whether to do something or not. For example, we'll just go with checkbox option first. I'm writing parameters p_check type this one is basically a demo system, and then most of the programs are not loaded in the buffer, so that's why it takes some time for the first time. So what I did, I hit an F1 there because I forgot the syntax. So the syntax is add checkbox. Checkbox. Now you can see this. Now go to text element, selection text. I give something choose, let's say choose. Now because it doesn't belong to a data dictionary standard field, so this option is disabled here. I can write something, let's say choose. activate. Now if you execute this, we have choose. But then the notification, we have to identify this as p underscore check in the program. So what I want to do here is, I am just telling the system that only if that checkbox is enabled, which means if p underscore check enabled means equal to x. If that is enabled, then only you do all this operation. Otherwise you don't do the operation, means fetching the data and displaying in the output. So what I did, I gave the material range, hit on choose, execute. So it's working fine. I go back, remove choose, execute, nothing happens. Why is it's not happening? Because I told the system that you do this operation only if this is happening. So the other thing is radio button. So I comment this one. Parameters r underscore button. So the syntax is radio button group r1. Now whenever r1. So the purpose of doing this is, we have two different radio buttons on the screen, but then all belongs to the same radio button group, which means I have to choose one of the options out of those multiple radio buttons, and then out of these two I have to make one as default, means one should be enabled by default. So default X. We'll just make it like radio bun 1, radio bun 2. So you can see, again I can just go and then selection text, I can mention like execute, no execution. Now go back, execute the program. So again I do the same thing, but then before that I need to make some changes. So earlier we were identifying it as p underscore check, now it's basically r underscore bun 1 and r underscore bun 2. So what I want that if r underscore bun 1 is selected, means if r underscore bun1 equal to x, then only this program should function, otherwise it should not. So execute means if I do this, so it's okay. If I do this, then nothing will happen. So these are the simple tweakings you can do in your program, and then you can also try few of the arithmetic operations. Like what you can do, you can create two different parameters and then you can create a third parameter, and then you try to add the two parameters and then get the output in the third parameter, something like that. So you can just simple, we have the options of these things will work here, plus it will also work minus, multiply, and then these things will work here. So what you do, just for the exercise, you can create two, you can take two inputs in the selection screen, and then you can try to get the result in the output by adding, multiplying, subtracting. If you need any help, either you can drop me an email or you can just do a little bit of Google, you'll get all the details there. So today we created a simple program. We tried to explore some of the options. uh, Tomorrow we are going to discuss about the events in the program, but then today you try to do some little bit of practice on this, so that whenever we move further tomorrow, then you can get the concepts. So we will try to understand the events in a program, and then we will try to see the difference between a normal report and ALB report. Also, what is a drill down report? So we will try to understand those things. Then we'll move further. And also the one thing that is pending is we have to create a log object, and then we need to do the we need to create a scenario wherein that log object is enabled and disabled. So that is also pending. So as we progress in the reporting part, we will implement that concept as well. So I think it's good for today. Just try to do some hands-on this one, and then let me know if you have any question. You can shoot me an email. And before I close this, I also wanted to tell you one more thing. Here what I did, I refer this internal table directly as a database table. But then there could be a scenario wherein I don't need all these fields. I need only, let's say, only these 4 fields. Then what I can do, I can create a structure at runtime. Means there is a syntax for that also. So what I do, types begin of ty underscore mara. What you can do, come here, do a control Y, and select only the fields which you want. I want only these 3 fields. This include is of no use, you can just leave it. This is how you, most of the time, means 90% of the time, this is how you create an internal table in ABAP. So because we only fetch the fields which we want, we don't want to fetch the useless fields, because it puts additional burden on the system memory and then reduces the performance. This is very, very important in terms of performance. So begin of ty underscore mara, end of. Okay, pretty printer. Now what is going to happen, it underscore mara type table. So we'll just control D, comment this, type table of ty underscore mara, type table of ty underscore, so type. So now the difference between these two is, now I'm not directly referring to the standard structure, and now I'm referring to my custom declaration, and then I'll just pull only. So earlier what is happening, it's pulling only these 4 fields, but then it's trying to push in a very big structure, and due to which there was a mismatch in the source and target, and I had to fetch this useless field also. Now I can remove this field, and now I know that the declaration in that types is basically the sequence is same. So you should take care of this. Basically the declaration of the structure of the internal table will have the same sequence as in the select query, otherwise it will be a performance issue, and then there would be short dump also in case there is a type mismatch between the fields, something like it's a date field and then you are pushing it into a char field. So those kind of things we will also discuss about what kind of data tomorrow. I think today it's already too much we have discussed. So now if I do the activation, if I execute this program again, so there is no difference. But then this is the better way of doing it. Rather than referring to the standard structure, we have to refer to our own structure. So you can try writing a sample program. We need to discuss so many things again. We need to join 2 tables. We need to see what kind of joins SAP provide, and then how to make this report more complex. So we will proceed further tomorrow. Just today you try to just mug up everything what I explained today. So thanks once again for listening to me, and then happy learning. See you again. Bye.